Innawoods tale. I have a few stories about something in the woods near me. I've chalked most of my experiences to just an over-fixation on X, but recent encounters have made me think twice. Live in medium-sized town, Pacific Northwest. Antisocial kid most of life, don't really get out much. Big into outdoors, always have been because of outdoorsy family. Most Innawoods trips limited to campsites and nothing too spooky ever occurred. Side note, when I was 10 or so, another bridge was built across the major river running throughout town. It connected up the east part of our town to the west, which was, and still is, a very much Innawoods places within only 3 or 4 minutes of entering it. Became a hot place for teens and shit to chill. Never much mattered to me because antisocial, sorry for all the background, I'm just trying to set the scene. Eventually high school rolls around. Normal Chad evolution. Still Mongolian throat signing board reading dweeb at heart. Eventually sophomore year start running across that bridge with a time girlfriend. Occasionally spooked out, but I'm used to the woods so it never really spooked me too badly. My GF at the time, lie, didn't give a fuck. We probably saw some spooky hobo shit on multiple occasions. And I'm almost certain she shrugged it off every time. This is all to say that if some real deal supernatural stuff happened, there's no way I'd miss it. And there's no way I'd be a bitch about it. Running one night after our sport practices. Same area across the bridge. We've ran this at midnight before, and I always get a really unnerving sense, but I chalk it to the homeless population. My town has an absurdly high homeless population. This night's different though. Instantly when we leave the lit up area I smell it. Burning wire, copper. Fuck.jpg. I've read enough shit to know that's not a good sign. Lies fucking zooming past me today. I was a grappler, not a runner. Not the goddamn day to get left behind. Our normal running path is a 4/5 mile loop that cuts next to the river and then parts a forest. Today we're taking a shorter path, like a 2-mile loop through really tall hay grass. Like shit's growing up to my shoulders. The path's stamped down though, so I'm just following Lie's lead. Going through this field is absolutely nauseating. It's gone from just burning metal to burning tires and rotting corpses. I get distracted and winded for about 20 or so seconds. Lie's gone. Like straight up fucking gone. The path winds pretty hard, but it's like she bounded a few hundred feet ahead of me in a few seconds. I was falling behind, but not that much. The trail's not too long though, and it's mostly linear with only a few forks, so I should be perfectly fine. Yeah, of course there's a fucking fork right ahead of me. It's a loop and we've been rolling right so far. So combined with a mental map of the area in my head, I'm decently sure I have to take a right. Look around to make sure it's the right way. There's something way back. I'm a short guy, 5'5". So the grass isn't actually super high, but it's enough that shoulder height on me really fucks my vision. Can't fully tell what it is because it's at least 100 feet out. Really bad at estimating distances. Super blurry, but I think it's a pair of antlers. Definitely freaked out. I've seen deer before, but there shouldn't be any in this area. Way too much foot traffic for an easily started animal to just be chilling near. Quickly turn back around and take the right fork. Intense smell is not fading in the slightest. My nerves are crazy high. I still have no clue where Lie went. Whatever was behind me lets out. I'm not even gonna try and break this up in green text because I can't even remotely put a specific description on it. It was like a tree falling mixed with an inhuman screech, deep and unnerving. If you've ever heard a stag call before, it was like that, but with a loud crashing backdrop, and all of it sounded several octaves below where it should have been. Literally on the verge of pissing myself. Sprint down the path I was going and hope I meet up with GF. At the point where the path reconnects up, I see her chilling mid-path. Slowpoke. WTF. Did she not hear that fuck? Not about to sound like a schizo. Whatever LMAO, let's just hike back, go home and instantly just flop and fall asleep. Check Apple Watch next day. Dear God, I hit a sub 6 mile. My normal fast pace would average 7:15. Texting with Lie after the day. Did you see anything? You mean besides the hobos? Lol. Yeah lol, besides the hobos. Just saw you eating dirt. Haha. Ha. WTF is she talking about? Think it's a joke about being slow, when you tripped and fell. I thought you just slipped on some shit and I'd catch you at the turn. Well, thanks for not caring about my well-being. Bye. Wait. That never happened. WTF is she talking about? Not about to be a schizo 2.0. Haha, thanks for making sure I wasn't dead. Whatever the fuck happened that night wasn't right. That was about 3 years ago and my first real encounter with what lurks near my town. About a week since last trip. We'd normally run on Fridays. As was last time. Today's a Saturday. Thursday night basketball game plus Friday night dual meet meant we were both exhausted. Still felt like a nature run. Chalked most of last week up to being really exhausted and out of it mentally. Agree to head back to the same usual spot with Lai. On super high alert, no cryptids snatching up my ass this week. For extra measures go with our 2 friends. Both sport homies, Rhett and his girlfriend Blondie. Genuinely forgot her name. Blondie's friends with Lai, so it works out just fine. We get started down the path a little early than last week. If I had to guess, 30 minutes prior to sunset. I start to get that same smell. Fucking great. Do I puss out or just hope Dear Demon doesn't eat my heart out? Gonna go with the latter. Social prestige is forever but sanity is fleeting. Rhett's on the same mental wavelength as me, known the guy for well over 2 years. I think he's catching on to the vibe I'm feeling and quite possible his girlfriend. We press on anyway. The 5-mile loop should only take us under an hour or so. Keep in mind the 5-mile loop goes near the river but also through the thicker forest. Rhett and Blondie slow a little bit and I match their pace. Lai bolts off ahead, the last time. Fucking great. I pick up the pace and bound after her. Passing through part just described. You can see through tree branches to field similar to last encounter. Fuck me sideways, is that a pair of antlers? Great it is. I think that's a genuine animal though. There's no evil stench or ungodly noise. Rhett and Blondie's far back enough to see me but nothing else. Lai's still way too far ahead. She was a speed demon and always had to flex it at the worst time. I slow a bit and wait for the 2 to catch up. I'm not dying alone out here. For the first time in a bit Blondie speak up. Do you guys smell that? Me and Rhett nod in unison. Yeah. Probably some bums burning copper. That's genuinely what it probably was. Sorry if it's dull, this one is more minor but important for later. Me and the 2 start picking up our pace to try and catch up to Lai again. Eventually we get out of the dense thicket and into more of a clearing. We see her jogging ahead. Way ahead. Like more than should be feasible even for a fast runner like her. And her running movements are janky like a GMOD character, or someone trying to limp along. We're calling out and trying to catch up but she's far, right teetering at the edge of visibility on an already foggy night. Not making any progress. At the second or third fork of the journey when it should have been a left she bolts a right. Okay, what the actual fuck? Everyone stop. I pull out my phone and give her a call. Reception net's about approximately 3 bars in clearings here and damn near nothing in the deeper parts of the forest. Yo, where the fuck are you going? WTF do you mean where am I going? Where did you guys go? We're audibly confused. I told you I needed to use the porta-pot before we left and when I came out you were gone. What are you talking about? All 3 of us watched you sprint off ahead. I'm still at the named little landmark by the start of the bridge. That's a goddamn 2.5 miles back. Lai, are you messing with us or what? The friends are pretty pissy at this point. We all think it's a joke. We're all on our way back to the start of the trail, none too happy. We reach the same dip in the forest I mentioned earlier. Normally this area puddles up something fierce and you have to take a shorter side route, but today there was no rain or anything, so heading there was no puddle. Coming back though, there's a full-ass lake. Knee-deep and no easy way to move across without backtracking. Within seconds of us turning around, a tree literally falls in front of us, within 4 bodies distance or so. This is a full-ass Douglas fir and sounds like an explosion going off in our ears. The ground, other than the spontaneous lake, was pretty dry, so dust is up all over the place. Those same fucking antlers are watching us. All 3 of us see it at this point. After a few seconds of the literal dust settling, what I thought was a buck rises several feet. Rhett's a tall fucking guy and Blondie's even taller. And whatever right past the underbrush is literally towering above them. Without warning we bolt back through the mini lake, getting soaked in the process. I'm sure as shit not looking back and just bound off back to where we all started. Rhett told me afterwards he glanced back and just saw those antlers and a giant deer head. The part that's still stuck with me is how he mentioned that silky skin shit that deer normally have on their antlers was semi-luminescent. I didn't notice that at all on any of the times before or after this, so I'm not sure if that was his imagination or my oversight. We break record time heading back to the start. As soon as we see bridge, city lights again, the burning wire smell starts to dissipate. I never noticed it get any stronger the entire time, but in all fairness, after I watched a fucking tree plummet in front of me. Once we get back, soaking wet and filled with fear, Lai immediately asks us what happened. Blondie starts talking about how we followed some spook, my words not hers, and had to backtrack to a lake, tree collapse, spooky deer Brody, etc. Lai laughs it off, but I'm genuinely noided out of my brains, Rhett's freaking, and Blondie's borderline in convulsions. We call it an early night and just head back. Within a month from that incident, life started turning bad for our entire community. Suicides, pedo teachers, a lot more I can't really say without doxing myself, but at the end of that school year I moved away from that end of the city and far to the other part. I was never particularly close with Rhett, but we didn't speak again after a mutual friend of ours offed himself, which is a story I'll get into. Roughly a month and a half after the two incidents. Me, working out at the gym. Gym is about 5 or so miles south on the civilization side of the river. Quite literally right next to riverbank and train tracks. If you're upstairs curling, you can see across from the window. So I'm upstairs curling. Group chats going off. Me and a bunch of characters, most of them won't come back with the exception of Ty. Ty's my best friend, good homie who fell through some bad times. Someone breaks that a friend of ours died. I'm broken, literally in shambles, just crying in the gym. It was one of those old folk gyms anyway, so it's not like anyone was around to care. But anyway, I look at the window of the gym and there's some movement on the opposite shoreline. The forest is really thick all the way up to water, but it's a clear enough day that I can make something out. Antlers. Poking out. For once I get a clear sighting of whatever was fucking with me and my friend a while ago. It's a big deer. Like roided out. Like hulked out. Like this thing is unnaturally strong and big even for a fucking animal. At first I genuinely think I'm losing it, but I swear that thing looks at me. Dead in the eyes, staring at me from across the river. I'm not convinced anything weird is going on, I'm just convinced I'm insane. It gets up. As in, stand up. On its hinds. And walks into the shrubbery of the forest. I'm so confused it actually leaves me silent. My brain can't even comprehend what it really just witnessed. You know the cute way a dog balances on its hind legs to get a treat from you? It's like the exact opposite of that happened. Its legs and deer thighs. Physically locked out like it was just coming up from a heavy squat. Sorry for the meathead references, it's all I really am able to phrase things. The joints weren't to bend that way. But the way whatever pulled that off was like it was natural. It looked as unanimal and actually evil as you could picture it. But the homie just moved right after, like it didn't get warped like a goddamn marionette doll deer demon spawn. Needless to say, after my brain snapped back into reality that my friend is dead, I broke and just awaited for a ride from one of the other group chat homies. We all met up, and for the remaining school year all of our lives and the lives of the entire community slowly got worse and worse. Someone jokingly said something put a curse on us, and that sounded about right, all things considered. I moved away for a while like I said, but moved back to the same old area of uni and things. Things haven't changed. So the story takes kinda a detour here. Like I said, I moved away from the area of occurrence for a good bit before I eventually found my way back here for college. It started mid-May. Mid-May. Meeting up with a friend, Jose, fitness junkie that's about to head to California for some university. We decided to go for a run. How about? Name of the park that's across from the river. Lol, I've had bad experiences with that area, man. Nah. They kicked out most of the homeless, so it's fine now. Okay, but can we stick to riverfront at least? So we do. Just kinda chilling, cranking off some 7. Oh, after Corona hit all I could do was run. So when that's all you got, you get good. Jose is a man with zero filter. So when something rustles right at the tree line I hear an audible, "What the fuck" out of him. Peer back around where the sound came from, branches snapping, bushes moving around, etc. Nothing. I'm on DEFCON 2 right now, verge of bailing. Familiar face pops up. Same roided to the gills deer. He's far enough away and not doing anything usual that he just looks like a big buck. But I know something different. I dunno if that deer actually had a dick or not. I'm just assuming, because if a female got that fucking big it's game over when the male shows up. Anyway, Jose sees this and calms down. Meanwhile I'm jumping up to DEFCON 1. Holy mother of God, get me the fuck out. Yo, we need to go. Why? Then the forest fucking echoes back. W. H. Y. Like each syllable has been stretched out. Kinda like you're reading one of those phonetic alphabets. Like if this was someone trying to fuck with us, it's doing a real good job of it. All we do is look at each other and bolt. Not staying around long enough to answer whatever the fuck was asking that question. It wasn't like the normal stories where it's a copy and paste of my pal's voice. Instead the inflection and overall flow was about the same, but the voice itself was again like the first time. Several octaves below the first, why, like you took his recording and put it through some shitty Skype distorter. By the time we got back to the mouth of the bridge and far fucking away from whatever the fuck happened there. Have to take a mental fucking double take. Finally conclude that shit's cursed. Whatever's out there, malevolent or otherwise, isn't right. Last or at least most recent story coming up, and the main reason I typed this all out in the first place. College finally comes along. New friends, the whole shabosh. 0.5 of us total. Names aren't important besides Pablo. Pablo's from the local town like me and knows the area. At this point, the area across the bridge has a bit of a spooky reputation behind it. So naturally late October we want something spooky to do. Pab casually suggests across the bridge. My response is a quick shut the fuck up. One of the people in the group, some country bumpkin with zero fear, takes up the idea. She's our driver, so that's the decision I suppose. Doesn't mean I'm any less spooked. 0.5 of us total, just going on a nature voyage, so I figured if it'll be spooky enough but not dangerous. As we're all crossing the man bridge, I'm feeling super queasy. Why'd my dumbass agree to this? We get to a point similar to the picture included. A long path going straight forward dividing the foresty part of the area from the field part. I see two people walking the opposite direction of our group. Don't recognize one of them but the other. That's straight up Rhett. I haven't seen him since everything went south a few years ago, but sure as shit that's definitely him. We make awkward eye contact as I'm chatting with the rest of the group. As I pass him I say something to the effect of, "Hey Rhett. Long time no see man." Doesn't respond in the fucking slightest. Just stares. We walk past and I'm getting some shit from the group for being weird and talking to strangers. It's Corona season, so with all the mask bullshit it might have actually not been him. But with the hair, the beanie, no way, that was definitely him. Look back. Him and the other guy has passed us and are far down the trail. But he's still staring at me. Quickly look back ahead and start pushing forward with the group. Extremely unnerved. Not sure if it's after the fact creeps clouding my mind, but the more I think on it the less Rhett actually looked like a person at all. His stride length and movements were static. Why? Like he was tripping on something fierce. Or still learning how to walk. Fast forward a few hours, me and the group have our little nature walk and are in sight of civilization again. Busy catching up with Quart to really pay attention to surroundings. Right as we leave the forest I hear a loud stag call. Loud. Last time I heard that was one of the spooky running trips, so I'm prompted to speed up our fucking exit. Hey. Name of Quart country gal. Let's head back to the dorms, it's starting to get really dark out. Directly translates to, I don't wanna die, let's fucking go already. Get back to campus. Message Rhett, hey man, crazy seeing you again. We need to hang sometime again. Not really sure what you mean, but for sure let me know. What do you mean? I saw you literally a few hours ago my guy. You definitely didn't. I haven't been back since sophomore year man. Okay lol. Must have been someone else.